right. So, there's a couple of things that um, I want to mention in this video. One of those things is that um, I have worked for in several different industries. Um, One of my very first jobs, actually, my third job, was to work at Federal Express. So, I was actually employed at Pizza Hut. Um, and after I left Pizza Hut, I was hired to work over at the airport doing security. But a couple of years later, I worked for Federal Express, and I started working for them in 1995. Um, my job, however, was not in HR, and so I didn't. And I worked with a lot of paperwork there, but I did not. I worked with shipping paperwork, and so there's a difference in those types of paperwork. Um, when you begin working there, they have a hiring criteria, and I think that one part of their hiring criteria is that you have a high school diploma and or a GED, which is a high school diploma equivalent. There are many companies who have that policy, not just Federal Express. However, that is where I worked, and I did work there. And so, yeah, I understand it, and I also understand um, all the work that has to be done in order to get a high school diploma and or a GED. Um, I do remember um, there was so much coursework and so many assignments that had to be completed in order to gain those credits before the state of Tennessee would issue a high school diploma to me. And yeah, I do understand how difficult that is. But my thoughts on that is that it's a decision that individuals seeking a high school diploma make to study the material. The other thing that I wanted to talk about is um, Bravo Zulu. Bravo Zulu is a award that is issued at Federal Express. It is an award that Federal Express gives to employees who work very hard and make an achievement. It is an award that is issued only at Federal Express, and I believe they issue that award out annually, and there's some type of compensation that employees get. I attended at least one ceremony where Bravo Zulu awards were issued back in the mid 90s. But once again, I never worked in any areas where policies were made or established within the company. All of that is done in the executive area. And so some of the reasons that, well, one of the reasons that I'm mentioning that is because, well, there are some people who are not directly expressing their feelings about the necessity of a high school diploma and or a GED in order to work for certain companies. And I have seen some of that expression myself very indirectly. And one of the things I would like to do is communicate that I am a former worker there. However, I was my responsibilities did not involve nor include any corporate level policy making about in regards to how the criteria that they set in place in order to make decisions about the types of or the characteristics of the individuals that they decide to hire. And so while that's a rather one-sided type of phenomenon where executive level people are allowed to discuss contractual contract matters within the company. However, employees such as myself are required to provide information about themselves and their personal lives in order for the company to evaluate. And so it's not employees of a walk-in sort of level basis typically are not participating in that. And so while we provide supportive functions for the company in an effort to perform our job duties, it's usually understood that individuals who work for the company are responsible for performing the tasks that they are given or that they are ordered to do by their superiors. And individuals who don't understand that may and who don't have high school diplomas and GEDs or a GED, I don't know how to explain that to you if you don't understand it. You would need to speak with a either an educational provider or someone who is licensed and or certified to instruct you about that information. It's not something that that I can speak with you about on a professional level because I'm not in the profession of explaining that in a way that confirms any company information. The other thing I wanted to discuss is that when um, when I worked in certain medical areas, at one time I got transferred and I worked in an area where not medication and not pharmaceuticals, however, medical equipment and supplies were ordered and or researched by myself and others that I worked with. However, if you or someone that you know um, is aware of some type of confusion about that in relationship to your own medications or pharmaceuticals being shipped in or transported. There is no no type of relationship with the medical supplies and individual pieces of equipment that I worked on. Um, and I can't give you any details about how that's done. But I was trained on a process in order to do that. And it's very technical and very detailed, and there's a lot of coding and stuff involved. However, my work did not involve any drugs or pharmaceuticals type of medications. Um, and so, however, we did ship in and order products that had to be transported, which were only which were used in medical practice exclusively. Um, but also, yes, there was a lot of running and exercises that I was also required to do on that job because we do a minimum mileage score, and it is timed in order to be in compliance with the standards of the people that I worked for. And so, yes, we ran. But and I also shipped and participated in work that transported goods and services that are in the medical field. However, not drugs and not um, pharmaceuticals and things. This equipment, the types of things that medical workers use. But once again, because of the expectations of the people that I work for, and I cannot give any or share any details about any further details about that outside of outside of work. However, if there is any more information required, you would have to see maybe my resume or something, and that shows details about the work that I did. However, The other thing I wanted to mention is yes, that I have been questioned about um, and been asked. I have been asked questions about running, and I have also been presented with situations that appear to me to um, um, contrast or give the impression that the um, the medical supplies that are used along with, in some instances, um, drugs that are medical practice medications um, were something other than medical drugs. Um, and that the running that we do at work was somehow related to um, other instances, other types of drugs and associated running. And um, being detained is um, in a situation where there is some type of confusion about that has led me to have discussions with some authority figures and law enforcement to explain what I do or my work history. And also to assert um, my work history, not necessarily to single anyone out or um, identify anyone who was doing something other than what I was doing. So that is something that has never been done because um, I have I no I have no information to share um, about anything like that. However, in order for me to do my job and to do my work as a person, I have to make sure that that is understood by particularly law enforcement individuals who may have questions about the any types of confusion between medical drugs and some street drugs that might be out there someplace. I don't know. But anyhow, that was actually several years ago when I first returned to the United States. There seemed to be some confusion about that. And it's been maybe 16 years now since my first experience with someone who was confused about that. Um, However, there isn't any certainty that there is not ongoing confusion about that. And but reporting that and establishing that fact of um, has been done, but not anything, not much else, other than what I need to do in order to be mobile and not be detained by someone in order to get that kind of information and things like that. But that's pretty much the topics that I wanted to discuss. The other thing, but the one more thing I wanted to discuss is that um, CEOs and individuals who own companies, um, they sometimes they congratulate and they celebrate their employees who um, work really hard and diligently to do their jobs. And sometimes they discuss what they want to about their employees with their executive level individuals or whomever they want to. Um, and sometimes they reward their employees, but the thing is, that is not really a dual kind of activity. So entry level employees um, who work for a company aren't involved in offering contracts to people who work for the company unless that is the job they're giving. So um, transferring employees and responsibilities and duties, um, those are executive level activities. Deciding who to hire. Um, these are, and also these are paid positions. So these are employees. They are free individuals or individuals who are not not servants, but they're workers, employees. And so they're not like out on a plantation field, even though they call the place several different interesting names. They're employees, they have benefits, and they're paid fairly well, pretty good, and the hours aren't overwhelming. But if you want more hours, they have various different jobs there that have more available hours, and they have some who have they're part time. So individuals who apply for jobs there, they are adults. They're not you know going to that job in baby carriages. They're adult people over the age of at the age of, that they're required to be in order to be employed there. And I imagine most people understand it, but for those who don't, um, um, I would like it to be known that I have an understanding of that. But if I didn't, I would ask someone who worked for the company to explain it to me. But um, I'm pretty sure that I understand what I need to know about how those things work, and I don't really have any confusion or questions about it, unless I'm presented with that. But I've seen some reasons to present information that I understand it, and that I don't have any confusion about it. And anyone who does, um, and who wants to know, there are people who work in those areas professionally who know how to explain those things.